Hello, everybody. So, I just wanted to come on here and um, talk to the healers, talk to the gifted, the tarot card readers, the empaths, the mediums, all of that good stuff. I wanted to come and talk to you guys. Those of you who are at a crossroads as well. So, I don't know how this gonna go. Woo, I'm a little nervous. But listen, here is here's my thoughts and my experience. Um, so I run into a lot of people who are healers. I run into a lot of people who do have gifts from the divine, and are just scared to use these gifts. Um, I'm gonna tell you like this. If your calling is light work, you need to live in your purpose. No matter what your calling is, you need to live in your purpose, but light work is going to be very important. Um, Not only that, if you are a light worker and you're supposed to be helping or healing people and things like that, it's gonna get, and you're not, it's gonna get harder for you. Life is going to get a lot harder for you. Now, I do want to say this. Everybody feels like, oh, okay, well, I don't want to do tarot, or I don't want to do, whatever it is, whatever tools for divination, or whatever it is you feel called to do. You could say, okay, I don't really want to do that. But let me tell you this: as long as you open a door. So let me give you an example. Lord, I'm over here sounding a mess. Let me give you an example. If you are here to help people and heal people, no matter what you do, you're going to get um, assignments. So these assignments, if you don't have a door open for these assignments, for example, my door that's open for my assignments is tarot, through Mize Tarot. If you don't have a door open through these assignments, then they're going to come in through whatever door is open. Now, a lot of us, we've had a string of bad relationships, or we've had betrayal in our friendships and things like that. And we look at ourselves as really good people. So, why is this happening? And it's because that was your assignment. You were not meant to fall in love with that man or that woman. You were not meant to befriend that person. This was your assignment. But the only door open was relationships. All you was looking for was relationships. So, boom, here you go, this horrific, toxic relationship, because you're supposed to help or heal this person. Now, I'm going to say this too. It's not your job, just because you're a light worker, it's not your job to heal everybody. People tend to be like, well, you're the healer, aren't you? Isn't that the purpose of a healer? No, no, it's not. I'm not going to heal everyone at the expense of my own sanity. But you got to have some sort of door open. Now, before I started doing this, and I really evaluated this, I'm going to tell you my own journey and my own experience, and it was horrific. But before I started doing this, since I was probably like 20 years old, 20, everyone and their mama done live with me. I used to bring everyone into my home. I don't know why. I always felt compelled. I used to bring everyone into my home. I'm going to move you out. I lived in Colorado at the time, and it was super cheap out there. Now it's super expensive. Not a good place. But anyways, I was like, okay, I'm going to move you out here. I'm going to get you a job, because I've always been a boss my whole life. I've always been a boss. I've always been the employer. So like, I'm going to move you out here, and I'm going to get you a job, set you up with an apartment, set you up with the car. I'm going to set you up with everything, because I just want to help you, especially people from my own neighborhood, because I'm from Los Angeles. And so I used to do that a lot. Now, I did it my entire 20s. When I turned around 29 or so, and I had some good and some bad experiences with that. I mean, I don't regret it. I used to do a lot of random stuff. For example, my friend, she always brings this up. She wasn't my friend before. I was living in a apartment building, and it was Christmas time, and I was in there just talking to the leasing agents, which is my friend now. I was talking to the leasing agents, and then somebody came in there, and she was just crying, and she had her little daughter with her, and they were getting evicted, and it was Christmas. So I turned around, and I said, "How much is your rent?" And she told me, and mind you, I ain't had it like that whatsoever. I didn't have it like that. But she told me her rent is Christmas time. You have a child. I'm a single mother. I turned around. I went to the grocery store. I got a money order for her rent. I paid her rent, and I bought her child some Christmas presents. That's the kind of stuff that I've always been compelled to do. Like, literally always. A lot of philanthropy activities, feeding the homeless, buying clothes, for the less fortunate, just doing all that kind of stuff. I was an educator prior to what I do now. And so when I turned around 29 or 28, I was like, and I'm 34 now. Shoot, I'm so old, I done forgot. I was like, I ain't letting nobody else come up in my house. I'm not helping nobody. Now's the time for just me and my family, because it's not like I had the room for people. It's always there in my kids' rooms or there in my living room or something like that. I'm just trying to help. So I turned 28 or so, and I kept feeling, I was in church every Sunday. I grew up Christian, St. Andrew's Missionary Baptist Church on 39th and Western in Los Angeles. And so I start feeling like I stopped doing all that stuff. I started like hiring single mothers. I would do it in that way, but I started feeling like I need to do more. And I remember I was in church one day, and something came over me. It was spirit, and they were like, you need to dive more into your spiritual practices, dive more into spirituality. Being here ain't enough. That's what I kept hearing. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that, because spiritual warfare. Did you forget about spiritual warfare? I do not want my life to be turned upside down. Like, that's what I was really thinking, because there's spiritual warfare, which is why prayer is extremely important, okay? Now, I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. So I kept getting that feeling that I needed to do more. And I'm like, I'm not going to put myself in a position where, the devil going to come in and get me because I'm doing too much. So I'm not going to do it. And it wasn't telling me to do anything with church or anything like that. It was just telling me, like, you need to dive deeper. You need to study more. You need to meditate. You need to do, and I was like, I'm not doing that. Come to church every Sunday. That is it. That's all I'm doing. I pray at home. I'm not about to do nothing else. I pray before I go to sleep. That's it. And so when I turned 29, I met this guy, and this guy was extremely good looking, but he was a lot younger than me. I started entertaining him. Long story short, I got pregnant. When I got pregnant, he turned into an absolute monster. Like, he wanted to, he was extremely controlling. He was like trying to damage my property, wreck my car, intentionally wreck my car. He was just doing all kind of crazy stuff. And so when I was pregnant, I was like, I'm not about to have this child. I'm not about to do this. I'm about to get an abortion, and I'm telling my friends, and they know me, so they know Maisha gonna push that button. That's not funny. I'm sorry for those of you who don't believe it, but it's my truth. And so I remember I had an appointment for an abortion, and I started bleeding. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna go to my appointment because I'm bleeding kind of heavy. Long story short, I ended up bleeding for 7 months. I remember talking to one of my friends. She was my best friend at the time. We are on different levels of ascension, so we don't speak too often. But anyways, she was like, Maisha, you ain't pushed that button yet? Talking about getting an abortion. And I remember saying, Chanel, I feel like my baby is going to change the world. Something is telling me I have to have this child. I had my child, this man who was extremely popular. I'm not from Colorado, but he was extremely popular in Colorado. High school football star. He was extremely good looking. A lot of people was, all over him. He was very charming, suave, manipulative, but I knew that he was, you know, his character wasn't as good as it seemed from when I was pregnant. However, I felt like he could be a father. He really wanted to have this child. He intentionally impregnated me. And so I felt like he could be a good father. Long story short, he started to molest my child. And because of his charm and because of the fact that he was suave and things like that, nobody believed it. Nobody believed it. He had a CFI for the court who, when you have a custody case, this person kind of looks at the best interest of the child. She lied on his behalf. She lied. She perjured herself 103 times on his behalf. And at this point, I was going crazy because my child is coming home with blood in her diaper from 4-hour visits. My child is coming home with blood in her diaper. My child is coming home with scratches on her groin. She came home with a black eye and a purple eye socket. She came home with knots on all over her head. She came home with bruises all over her body. And these folks is telling me I have to continue to send her or I will not see her again. This is what the Arapahoe County Family Court in the state of Colorado was telling me. So I'm sending her because I'm waiting for this court case to be over because, I can prove my case. All these incidents, all these police reports, the Department of Human Services is on my side and so are the police. But what DHS is saying is every time they go over there, his girlfriend is saying, oh, the child injured herself, or he wasn't even around, the child fell, this was an accident, or his mother is saying this is an accident, and things like that. So it's my word against his, and I wasn't there, and they are chalking all of her injuries up to accidents. We got a dozen police reports that show she's been injured with him. I went to court for our permanent orders hearing. And I had the police, I had DHS, I had about 20-something witnesses. I had, his old roommate who testifying, oh, he sell drugs in the home. I had people testifying he's a danger. I had people testifying he's violent. I had DHS testifying to all the incidents. I had, all my ducks in a row. And throughout the whole time that this stuff was happening, I was praying. I'm like, why is this happening to me? Why is this going on with my child? Because everybody knows how I am about my kids. If I ain't nothing else, I'm an amazing mother. Amazing mother. And if I don't care about nothing else, them kids, okay, I'm going to go to war over, which I've proven. So, anywho, we went to our permanent orders hearing after the child and family investigator, which her name was Angelina Cordova, and she has a lot of cases against her, like where it's been perjury and things like that, where she's lied. Basically, she racist and she was dealing with him. So, anyways, and he's not black. He's not black. I am. So anyways, we went to court. The judge didn't even listen to the investigators and the witnesses. This man only had his mother and his girlfriend there. His mother testified that while he uses drugs, when he's high, he's still not high enough to where he can't watch his child. That's what she testified to. So his drug use, all that stuff, it wasn't a factor. Like, that wasn't something they were denying. And then his girlfriend testified that he was a non-violent person. Despite all the violence, all the injuries, all the pictures, all the everything, the court looked past the Department of Human Services, who said, Angelina Cordova lied on us. We never said this to her. These are the facts of this case, and we believe that there's something going on, but we weren't able to prove it, So that's why we're here testifying on Maisha's behalf. So the judge, after this hearing, mind you, the whole time He's not paying attention to anything. He's sitting on a bench looking like a little penguin. He's fat. He's white. He has white hair with a big old diamond earring and drinking Red Bull on the bench. He about 50, 60 years old, but he think he 20. So he's sitting there and he says, I'm going to adopt the recommendations of the CFI in its entirety. I'm going to say that the mother is paranoid of sexual abuse. Oh, I forgot to mention that I found out throughout this case that he had been arrested for sexual assault on 2 other children prior to my daughter, prior to my allegations. But the judge overlooked that. They said those sexual assaults were adolescent mistakes. He was younger then. So the fact that he had sexual assaults on 2 children, it didn't make a difference. That's what they said to me. And until the mother is able to control her paranoia in believing that the daughter is being sexually abused despite blood and, everything else, she will not see her child except for every other Saturday. When I tell you I'm a decorated educator leading the field of ECE, when I tell you, like, private contracting, doing all of this stuff, training teachers, coaching teachers, every last one of my children were gifted and talented, identified, through the school district and things like that. I had nothing on my record. Meanwhile, this man had been arrested every year since he was 12 years old. I was confused. I didn't know why this happened. I was devastated. I was in a depression. I started to run away with my children. I didn't have no money. I couldn't do that. So then I'll go to this place. It's called Spirit Ways in Denver. It's a metaphysical shop. And I met this woman named Alicia. She came up to me and she was crying. And she said, God is crying for you. She didn't know what was going on with me. I had my daughter in my hand. And she said, your daughter's been sexually assaulted by her dad. And I said, yeah, I know. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't do nothing. There's nothing I can do. And I was broken at that point. And she said, God is crying for you. She said, but this is your battle. This is your journey. You're going to help so many families through your experience. And not only that, you're going to help so many people elevate spiritually. And I didn't believe her. I thought this one was crazy. She said, go to the sheriff's department and you're going to see that just a couple of weeks ago, he was arrested for sexual assault on another child. She don't know me. I don't know her. She don't know him. I'm not giving this woman no information, nothing. She's just speaking to me. And she's crying and she's like, this is not from me. This is God. He's crying for you. This is what he wants you to do. And I know it's hard and I know it's going to be hard for you to get through this. And a lot of people have took on these demons. She was like, but this is a spiritual war. This is not physical. So you're not understanding what's going on right now. But there's a judge in your case. Did not tell her that. And, he's a demon. He has, this negative, whatever. These people are evil people. And so you're going up against them. I went home. I didn't do what she said because I was just like, yeah, okay. It sounds good. She's crazy though. Maybe she's a pedophile because pedophiles can sense victims and my daughter's a victim. So that's why she went up to us. So that's what I was thinking. I went to the extreme because at this point I said, you're not getting my daughter. It's me or you. I'm not turning my daughter over. I didn't turn her over when they said that. I'm not turning my daughter over. It's you or me. So one of us got to go. Dead serious. I was so serious. I was like, I got to protect my child. So long story short, I'm getting all emotional. So long story short, I go. I'm gonna skip this part. Well, I don't know if I can. I prepare to protect my child, and I heard a voice, and it said, Maisha, no. Maisha, no, don't do it. The voice was loud, like it was right in front of me. Right in front of me. Like I'm speaking to you. Don't do it. Go to Arapahoe County Sheriff's Department. Remember what this lady told you. Go do that. Don't do it. That day, I went to Arapahoe County Sheriff's Department and I tried to pull his record. They said it's going to be $32. I didn't have it. I didn't have $32. I went back home and I pawned my TV because nobody was helping me through this whatsoever. So I pawned my TV and I went back and I got those records. Long and behold, on September, what's it, September? Or I'm sorry, on August 11th, 2018, he was arrested for sexual assault on another child. Now, on this date, him and I were supposed to have our custody hearing. He did not show up, and the judge said, oh, I think he's a good guy, so I'm going to give him another chance. The judge was supposed to give me a default hearing and give me full sole custody. He didn't do that. He pushed our court date out to 2 weeks later, and then that's what happened. But he had been arrested in that same courthouse, and he was out on bond for sexual assault on a child with an ankle monitor on his leg and restricted from being around any children. He had randomly assaulted a 11-year-old girl from the state of Texas. She was there vacationing with her family. He's an electrician. He still has his job because he's not in jail. In Colorado, it's a slap on the wrist. They gave him a plea. He pleaded out. He's in therapy, sex offender intensive therapy. And I felt like that was the breakthrough that I needed. And I cried so hard that day, and immediately I took that paperwork to the courthouse and I filed an emergency motion to restrict. And I said, listen, between this time I had a Secret Service agent testify on my behalf that this man had been threatening me, that all this stuff was happening. And this judge didn't give a damn. This judge looked at me and the Secret Service agent in the courthouse and was like, denied. He didn't give a damn. He didn't like me. And he admitted this on December 18th. He said, I didn't rule in law because of my personal feelings for you. But anyways, I took all of that information down to the courthouse. And instead of the judge ordering a retrial, because when information, I know the law like the back of my hand. So basically he was supposed to order a retrial. Instead, he ordered the Department of Human Services to remove only my daughter, my infant, who I was still breastfeeding. I breastfed her till she was 16 months old. He ordered her to be removed from my care, citing that the mother is paranoid of sexual abuse and the father is restricted from having contact with children. So put this child in a safe home until the mother handles her paranoia, still wanting me to say that he never did this. This is what the judge instructed me to do on transcripts, on the record. But until the mother gets over her paranoia and until the father's criminal case is done. I filed everything I could because you want to call me paranoid. Okay, I'm going to take that. You said I'm paranoid even though I know I'm not. But the law says that even if I am paranoid, you cannot violate my constitutional rights based on a mental illness. Paranoia is a mental illness. So, and it's, if the man done paranoid or done molested 3 other children, why the hell are you still saying this is paranoia? If she's had blood in her diaper, bruises, cuts, this is not imaginary shit. So why are you still saying it's paranoia? I couldn't understand it. But the law was on my side. The judge instructed my child's father to plead down in his sexual assault on a child case. Plead down, because if you plead down, I might can still give you your daughter, because I don't like the mother of your child. He told me several times. Every time we went to court about 7 times in a 3-month span. My daughter was out of my care for a month, but she was with my sister. And the Department of Human Services were basically like, yo, we can't do this because mother, we don't have any concerns about the mother. She's a great mother and she has 3 other kids in her care. So why are we doing this? We can't do anything. We can't help you. All we can do is do a voluntary safety plan. And, we can't do anything. We can't provide financial support for this child. We can't open a case on this family because the mother is a fit parent. Even though the father is not, the child still has a fit parent. So we can't do nothing. The judge eventually had to let the Department of Human Services out because they kept saying, hey, this is illegal. This is illegal. He didn't give a damn. He didn't give a damn. And I was trying to figure out the whole time, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? And I realized that I had been given a calling. I have been given a calling to dive into my spiritual practices, dive into everything. And for me, the only way to break me is through my children. I've been in so many relationships, toxic relationships, bad situations, never been broken down. In this situation, I was raw, completely raw. I was completely broken down. I was completely suicidal, feeling like I failed as a mother. I could not protect my child from sexual abuse. I could not prove my case, and I was working on my own. I did all of this on my own because I made too much money for legal aid, and I made too little money to continue to afford a lawyer. So I had missed my calling. So this was the only way to get your attention, Maisha, is to use your children. Through this experience, I was paranoid. I didn't know, or not paranoid, I'm sorry, now let me say that. I was anxious. I had a lot of anxiety. I didn't sleep sometimes for 2 to 3 days at a time. I was up studying the law, case law. I know the law like the back of my hand. Like I've helped several hundreds of families with similar cases. I stayed up 2-3 days at a time. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't go to work. I got evicted out of my home. Like it was so much. And it was the fear of me losing my daughter and knowing that it was not right, and knowing that this man was a molester, and knowing that this man was trying to already groom my infant. Okay. So what ended up happening is I learned the law like the back of my hand. The judge had to reverse his orders, but the way he did it was so trifling. I'm not going to get into all that. He had to reverse his orders. But when he did it, he also said, I didn't rule in law because of my personal feelings for you. So unfortunately now I have to give you sole care and control of the child and blah, blah, blah. But through this experience, I developed a routine of prayer and meditation. I was so anxious. I was so worried all the time. I was so stressed. I had lost like 40, 50 pounds. I done gained it back, you could see. But I had to be broken down in order to start to live in my purpose. She told me that I would do light work. She told me I would do the legal work, and I didn't believe her. The legal work, the families that I've helped legally, that was part of my purpose. The light work that I do today, that you see me doing today, this is part of my purpose, and this is why I take it seriously. This is why I'm not like the other people who, it just sends you a couple of lines and tell you, whatever you want to hear or something like that. This is why I urge, when I see the light in you, when I see that you're supposed to be a light worker, this is why I urge you to start to live in your purpose, because your story may not be as drastic or dramatic as mine, but it can be tragic. Only way to break me is through my kids. You guys could suffer, other fates, and I'm not speaking this on you. I'm just warning you, okay? Through that experience, I had to be broken down. I was raw. I had to pray 30 to 40 times a day. It was probably more than that. Now I pray about 30 times. So that was probably about 100 times a day. It was every 5 minutes, every hour, every time I stood up, every time I had a thought, I was breaking down and I was crying. I was praying. I did not listen to music for, probably 2 years. I didn't have anything playing in my car and stuff like that. It was just silence. It was always just me alone with my thoughts. It was never any distractions. It was constant meditation until the point where I started hearing the voice of the divine come and speak to me and tell me what I need to do and what's my next move and what's going on. Now, y'all wondering what happened with that judge. He actually got removed from the family courts, but he's now in the criminal courts because Colorado don't give a crap, okay? He got removed out of the family courts. But there are so many people or complaints, so many women with similar stories dealing with him because he's a misogynist and he's a racist. If you're curious, his name is Eric Barclay White. He is in the criminal court at Arapahoe County Court now in Centennial, Colorado. The investigator was Angelina Cordova. She owns One Day at a Time counseling in Greenwood Village, Colorado. Anywho, all this stuff happened to me and I had to be breaking down in order to live in my purpose. This is why I stress to you guys, again, it's not going to be as dramatic. I have a client who I've been telling for a minute, you know, you got to do this. You got to start living in your purpose. Her job was her life and she lost it. She just recently lost her job. And I had been forewarning her that, you know, Spirit really wants you right now. And this year, last year, next year, these are all years to where we got to do what we need to do. We have to live in our purpose. We have to follow our life's path. This is the year that a lot of things are changing. This is why we see long-lasting relationships that we thought were unbreakable. We see those breaking because people are starting to follow the divine and not actually you know, follow their own mind. Now they're living in purpose. So I say all that to tell you, you need to live in purpose. And then for those of you who are doing that, I want to, you know, touch on that too. You have to protect yourself as a light worker because spiritual warfare is real. And not only that, energy does not dissipate, it transmutes. So that's why your clients, once they are done talking to you, they feel 100% better, but you're going to feel drained. You're going to feel drained. And it depends on how many people you decide to take on a day. But that negative energy that they just dumped on you is going to build. So you have to take spiritual baths, real spiritual baths, not with the little flowers and stuff, but with the herbs, with, you know, agrimony and, you know, everything that I dress my protection candles with, I use in my spiritual bath. And that's what you guys are going to have to do. You have to pray. You have to stay in prayer. I stay in prayer. And even though I still feel spiritual attacks based off of energy transferring to me and me not properly protecting myself or handling it. One sec. Back. I was saying, you're going to have to properly protect yourself. Taking spiritual baths is going to be one of the ways. Prayer is another way. Make sure you're doing protection rituals. You know, I don't know how deep y'all getting into it, but I do protection rituals. You know, I do protection candles. I do things like that. And then remember that every person who comes to you is not your assignment. Use discernment. Because I don't take on everyone. I don't take on everyone because, you know, for one, the mediumship part, I can do that. I don't like the energy, so I do not take on I don't take on mediumship clients. Not only that, with just the tarot, some situations are too intense for you to take on. Now, me, I think I take on everything tarot related. Yeah, I do. I had a missing persons case that I successfully called and solved maybe like a month or something ago. And I have, serious things like that. Of course, we do love and relationship, but also as a light worker, it is your job to check your ego at the door. Now, because of my experiences and everything that I've been through, I don't have no ego. I don't have no ego. Now, I joke around, on my personal social media page and things like that, but I don't have an ego whatsoever. I done been through everything you can imagine. Like, not just that story. I got some stories for y'all for days. So I've been through everything you can imagine. And so when it comes to my readings, I am sure not to involve my personal opinion or my ego, because it's easy to say, "Oh, you stupid. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that?" I solely read the cards, and because I read the cards, I don't recall a lot of my readings. After I read someone, that's it and that's all. I don't remember this person. I don't remember their reading because I didn't involve myself. I didn't put my energy into these cards. I used my client's energy in order to pull the reading, and that's it. You're going to have to learn to not personally involve yourself in these people's lives. I've dealt with torture cases. I've dealt with infant violence, similar things that I've been through. And I don't involve my personal feelings because the spirit wants them to move one way, despite the fact that, I've been there or I've done that. I don't tell them to move a different way than the cards are telling them to move. And I learned that that's the way to go, through, my reviews or through people coming back and telling me, you know what, my shit, that was absolutely right. And this is what I got from it. This is what, some people are meant to go through stuff. I do warn my clients to word their questions appropriately if they have questions. Because a client will ask you, am I supposed to be with this man? And yes, you're supposed to be with this man so that he can force you through a spiritual awakening. That's why you're supposed to be with this person. It be stuff like that. You can't get too involved. You can't get too invested in your clients or in your situations, because you're supposed to be delivering a message from the divine. You're not delivering a message from yourself. You're not telling people that they need to, leave him, he done cheated on you. You need to do this, that, and the third. It's none of your business. This is between your client and their spirit guides, their ancestors, their angels, God, whoever resonates with them, whoever is leading and guiding them. That's who it's between. So, again, my foot fell asleep, y'all. Again, be cautious when inserting your own personal beliefs or your own personal opinions in your reads and in your pulls. Be cautious of not cleansing yourself. Sometimes you will start to be physically ill from the amount of negativity and negative energy that a client will bring to you or multiple clients will bring to you. That's when you cleanse yourself. Sage, Palo Santo, spiritual baths with herbs and, things like that. Make sure whichever space you're using to deliver your messages, you're cleansing that space in that area too. You will be an emotional wreck and not even know why you're an emotional wreck, and come to find out it's because your clients are an emotional wreck and you are too engaged or you are too attached to your client. So you just have to make sure, above all else, you are protected. You are protected. And, we all believe in different things. I really suggest you stay in prayer because as a light worker, you guys should know that spiritual warfare is real. Metaphysics is real. Magic is real. I done seen it all firsthand. All of this stuff is real. So you need spiritual protection. Don't think that you can jump into this and not have spiritual protection. Not only that, a lot of times we have spiritual attacks from people seeing us shining. For example, I have readers who will try to attack me spiritually, because on my Facebook page, I only have a following of 4,000. That's it. YouTube page, it's like 300 and something subscribers, although I'm new to YouTube. But I stay booked. I stay booked. Whenever my schedule is open, my schedule is booked out and booked up. And people be wondering, like, she ain't even get, how she carrying all this weight. She ain't got no, she don't got nobody behind her. You know what I mean? I have, millions of subscribers and millions of followers, and, what's going on? So then they try to attack you spiritually. They try to attack your character. They try to attack your reads. I had some reader, I don't even remember her name. However, I've had clients come to me like, yeah, I went to this person, I had to get a refund, she's horrible. But she saw me on your page and she was in my inbox talking about some, I can do a reading for $17. My shit's too expensive. That's another thing. Let's get on costs. A lot of people gonna try to play you as a reader. A lot of people gonna try to play you. Know your worth, because people are like, you're a light worker. Why are you charging? Because I got mouths to feed. Because of the fact that the divine gave me this gift in order to help you and help myself. Me helping you is helping myself. I shouldn't have to have a full-time job or struggle and not be able to do what I need to do for me and my family, because I'm a light worker, because I'm trying to help people out. I should live comfortably, because I am moving genuinely. Okay, I do some readings for free. A lot of people don't do readings for free, but I do some readings for free. But know your worth. If you feel like you're not getting paid enough, increase your prices, because your assignments are still going to come through that door, period. Your assignments are still going to come through that door. Some people are literally going to question you. They're going to bash you for, even having a price or having a schedule or not being on call. Set boundaries. So I was saying that no matter how much your prices are, your assignments are still going to be able to get through to you, okay? It will be divine intervention. If they ain't got it, they will get it. Now, everyone won't have access to you, and it's okay for everyone not to have access to you. That's okay. When I first, started just doing it publicly, my prices were like $20, and I had people coming who just had an extra $20 and wanted to play around. It wasn't like they had a need for a reading. They wanted some insight on their spirit or anything like that. It was literally, oh, I got an extra $20, so I'm about to waste your time for a little while. You can't do that. You can't do that. It's okay for you to live comfortably. It's okay for you to be able to pay your bills, take care of your family, and things like that off of divination work. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, because if it was, there would be another portal. There would be another. You wouldn't be doing it. I'm gonna put it like that. You wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't okay for you to be able to take care. That just sounds stupid saying it. If it wasn't okay for you to be able to take care of yourself through your spiritual work, through your light work. You see how that sounds? I'm a light worker, but I can't take care of myself because I'm trying to take care of everybody else. The burden of the world, the weight of the world is not on you. It's not on you. And I say that, but I do free readings. I do free readings. But that's what my spirit calls me to do, these free readings. I know people who are only in this for money, and they won't do a free reading to save anybody's life. But they're also not as abundant. I'm abundant because my heart is in the right place. I don't have a lot of followers. I don't have a lot of subscribers and things like that. But trust and believe, me and my family, we're so good, okay? Spirit, God, the divine, we've been blessed and taken care of. And that's because I'm living in my purpose. So I'm going to advise you to live in your purpose. For those of you who are just starting, do not start to think like, I don't know, where am I going to get clients? People are going to laugh at me. People are going to, my whole family, my grandmother, my mother, my, like, everybody in my family comes to me to get readings. Okay? So in the beginning, they going to laugh. But at the end of the day, they're going to see that you're the truth. They're going to see that you're gifted. They're going to see that you're blessed. They're going to see that this is a divine message. A lot of people want to make spirituality, wants to make metaphysics, all of that stuff, an evil thing. This is learned behavior. This is something that they were learned. This is something that they were taught through the restrictions of religion. There's nothing wrong with it. You need to do your own research. You need to study in yourself, study for yourself, and stand in your power. You need to stand in your power, okay? For hundreds of thousands of years, they didn't want us to know what our true power was, and now we're figuring out, and people scared. Also, when it comes to charging, I know people who have told me in their light workers, okay, I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to charge. Let me tell you something. You can do that. If that's what Spirit is calling you to do, then by all means do it. But don't have no shame in charging a price, because the candles that I use for protection, they cost cash money. The herbs that I use to protect myself and adopt your energy, that costs cash money. Okay? The cards, the camera, the phone, everything that I use to assist you, that costs cash money, okay? You can't do this for free. It gets expensive. I have 50, 60 decks in there. I go through hundreds of candles. I go through a whole lot of herbs because of the amount of work I do. I have to take a spiritual bath every day or every other day. I have to protect myself. This is money. Not only that, time is money. Because while I'm sitting up here using an hour out of my day trying to help an assignment, I could be using that hour out of my day at an actual facility, at an actual job, and getting paid money. So why should I be losing out because I've been called to help people? It's an equal exchange. It's an equal exchange. I guess that's all I have to say. Make sure you're living in your purpose.